And live. Here we go, nice and bright and sunny. We got the scoreboard in the back. I love that. I love that.
Excellent.
So, hello everyone, and happy Wednesday. What a gorgeous day. We're so very happy to be at the Truro Raceway. We are here today with Steve Fitzsimmons, the General Manager of the Truro Raceway. Steve, obviously, thank you for having us here today. We're really excited. It's been amazing. I guess it's been a while since I've been here, and to see all the changes is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I think unless you're a real diehard fan, it's been a while for a lot of people who have been here.
Right.
Especially with obviously this grandstand being under renovation for quite a few years.
Yeah. So Steve, just to start, for people tuning in and for people that are going to watch after the fact, why don't you maybe introduce yourself and give us a bit of background on your career in horse racing?
Sure. My career started as a groom, actually, with my dad when I was 12 years old. I'm from Ontario, and my dad raced horses on the weekend. He had a full-time job.
It's very much a family thing, isn't it?
Very much a family thing. My sister and I groomed for my dad with his horses on the weekends. And, I've owned horses since then for probably 30-something years. I hate to say that, but yes. So I've been an owner, I've been a groom, got into some other kinds of business. Ended up, the town I lived in Ontario, I was elected to their council locally, and one of the council appointment committees was the racetrack locally, which was Hanover Raceway, which actually was my home racetrack.
Oh, fantastic.
So I got appointed to that committee and ended up a couple years later being offered the job of running as the general manager of that business, which I did for 3 years. And it was the most improved track in Canada in that time.
Wow.
In 3 years. And going through all of COVID and everything with that, our wagering was up over 120%.
That's fantastic.
Which was crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy numbers for over COVID even, like you said.
Yeah, it was handy. I had a broadcasting background. A lot of people know I have a broadcasting degree and did hockey in the Ontario Hockey League and as the play-by-play voice of the Guelph Storm. And so I had a really good idea of the broadcast side of what that product should look like, and made some changes to it, and it certainly spiraled at the right time when people were literally stranded in their homes looking for entertainment.
Yeah.
We had improved our product significantly there, and it made a massive difference. And so obviously this place, it has had some challenges over the years, and one of the challenges was a lack of wagering, and obviously in the last number of years, not having access to their grandstand with any full capacity. We had a partial grandstand last year, of course, but
that's obviously going to make a huge impact.
It's going to make a huge difference. So I could see they were looking for a GM and approached me, and it was a lot of the similar problems to what Hanover had that I just got finished fixing.
Yeah, exactly.
So we had a chat. I ended up flying out here and talking, and here I am.
Amazing.
So that's how
Well,
happened.
it sounds like they're very lucky to have you.
Well, I appreciate
and
it.
I know you guys got lots of things on the go this year. If you guys have any questions while you're tuning in, or if you're watching after the fact, leave them in the comments or let us know now, and we'll definitely read them out as we go. So, Steve, as you mentioned, you relocated here from Ontario. To take over as general manager. How do you feel like the transition has been for you, and what have been some of the highlights?
Some of the highlights, I'd say, would be Atlantic Canada. People in Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick are the friendliest people I've ever encountered in my life.
It's true. It's true.
So and when I came down from Ontario, I'd been here once when I was a little kid in Nova Scotia, and that just struck me. Like everywhere, you go to a variety store and you have a conversation with the teller because they really actually want to know how you are.
Very true. Yeah.
You go to Ontario, and no offense to Ontario, I'm from Ontario, but they don't really mean
it's not the same.
No, it's not.
They're doing it for their job,
There's certainly
right?
a sincerity to the folks in Atlantic Canada that we really enjoyed. And I mean, it's just such a beautiful province and area, Atlantic Canada. And my wife and I really fell in love with it.
Oh, that's great.
And so they kind of convinced me this maybe was the right place for me to be here. Yeah.
So it wasn't too much convincing, I guess, that it took you, eh?
Not a lot. No, not a lot. It's certainly, I would say that's been the highlight of meeting some of the nicest, friendliest people I've ever encountered. we certainly were able to get wagering up significantly last year, despite not really having much of a grandstand.
That's so great.
Year over year, race date to race date, we're up 104%, which is the most improved in Canada.
Wow.
So, and we think there's a lot of upside, even more for us once we get the grandstand fully operational here and, get sort of at 100% of what we think our capacity is going to be and what we're going to be capable of. So I'm very optimistic about where we're going to go.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of upside for the place.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I'm sure that once everything is up and operational and ready to go, there's going to be so many people that want to come and see. Like I had said when I got here, it's been a few years since I've been here, and to see everything that's changed, it looks amazing. So this Sunday, May 19th, is opening day for the 2024 season. So that's going to be great. You're obviously very excited. Opening day, right?
Yeah, we're a little excited. You might be able to tell. We have Atlantic Sire Stakes for 3-year-old pacing fillies here, which a lot of the horses that actually were in our Diamond Classic race last fall are going to be back today. So, that's going to be, they're going to be back on Sunday, I should say, and that's going to be nice to see. So, I don't know who the entries are going to be, but I'm expecting somebody like Chip of Evil, who won that race, to probably be in the entries for Sunday. And she certainly has a strong following in Atlantic Canada and was the horse of the year in that division last year. So, we're certainly expecting to see horses like that. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. As far as the grandstand goes, the bottom of the grandstand will be completely open to fans. So that's great to know. The upstairs is just about a week away, unfortunately. It will not quite be open for Sunday. I know the contractors have been pushing really, really hard, and they had significant crew here over the last number of weeks to try to get us over the finish line with that. And I know they've done everything they can, and we really appreciate that. But
it's just how things go, right? Sometimes there's things that happen that you just didn't see happening, right? And it that's kind of part of life.
But I would say, for our next race date, which would be June the 2nd, that should be fully operational.
Up and ready to go.
We think the restaurant will be operational up there. So the Rath Eastlink Community Center are running the food and drink operations here at Truro Raceway this season. And so
that's great. They've had some great stuff going on there. Yeah,
they do. So they'll have a full restaurant upstairs. They'll have a canteen down on the main level downstairs. And they also have a very cool sea can that they've renovated here. And it's going to have sort of barbecue items.
Wow.
Including, I'm told, brisket. So,
oh my goodness.
Yum, yum.
Brisket. So it's kind of, you guys are making this a destination for people to come and visit. Take in the raceway, grab some really great food, be in the community. We're
going to go from, basically not being able to generate a whole lot of fans in the last couple or 3 years, although we did do a little better with that last year, to being a tourism destination, to being a tourism driver for the year. We're really proud that we're going to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Because, I think at our peak, we're probably going to draw something like 2,000 fans for a race day this year. I'm fully expecting to see 1,000 plus on opening day, but we have some incredible events this year that are going to be significant draws.
Well, and so speaking of that, this season is packed with special events. You've got mini horse races, wiener dog races, family fun day, Atlantic Women's Driver Challenge. So why don't you tell us a little bit more of some of those?
Well, I mean, the wiener dog event last year was ridiculous.
Yes, Alicia was here for that, and she had the best time.
So it's something that some of the Ontario racetracks play around with it a little bit, and I didn't have a chance to do it at Hanover just because of COVID and everything. We didn't really want to have a huge crowd like that, but it was always something on my bucket list to do.
Yeah.
So I brought that idea with me, and we were expecting a fairly modest level versus what we ended up getting. So we had about 1,500 people. The place was incredibly packed.
So great.
We ended up on CBC News for the first wiener dog race at a racetrack in Atlantic Canada.
So it was the first one last year.
In Atlantic Canada, at a racetrack,
Yeah.
So we had a ton of fun with it, and the fans really loved it.
Absolutely.
And
How could you not?
It tied in nicely to our race day too, because some of those fans had never been here, had never really wanted to come, but it gave us an opportunity also to showcase our product to them. And I think that worked out well too, that we maybe created some new fans that day.
Absolutely.
You get a lot of little kids and families coming and then you get up so close to the horses. And sure, they love dogs, but who doesn't love horses too, right? I mean, you can get within 20 feet of a horse.
Those are core memories for kids,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a neat day. We have that, of course, coming up in July. That's on the same day as actually I've partnered that with the Atlantic Women's Drivers Challenge, which is an event we've just created. So there's 4 female drivers in Atlantic Canada. They'll be participating against the best drivers in the rest of Canada, mostly from Ontario. And so they'll square off in a matchup of 5 races here. Of course, Claire McDonald from Antigonish is the all-time leader for wins and purse money in Canada, Canadian history. So the hometown lady is the all-time leader. So the hometown crowd will be cheering her on,
absolutely.
I'm sure, and the rest of the Atlantic girls. But I think that'll be a fun event, something that hasn't really been done here before.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. And get
out and support the ladies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It'll be a fundraiser for cancer as well, breast cancer and some other cancer research things. So so it ties in nicely with
support all around.
Exactly. Yeah. Family Fun Day, we did that last year as well. That was a lot of fun. We brought a lot of young kids and families, and we had a good time with that. And the mini horses, that's something
that's going to be a fun one too.
You know what? That's really taken off. So we did it for the first time last year. I had done it in Ontario and had a good luck with it. And it's ended up being a whole circuit this year that every other track in Atlantic Canada is now having. There's actually a circuit of the.
You started it.
Yeah, it's sort of. I'm proud of that. And,
absolutely.
Red Shore saw the value of that. They ended up having an event in December after ours, and that went really well. And then so now the other tracks have decided that they like to be part of that too, which is nice. But you know what? Here's the best part about that: young people in our sport get a chance to participate in front of all these crowds when you're 10 or 12 years old with your little pony mini horse.
Experience.
And you know what? It's going to bring more young people into our sport, which is exactly what we need.
Absolutely.
But also, I think the fans really get a kick out of it. They love cheering on those young people, giving them a thrill. And it was so much fun here. So I'm really thrilled what's happened with that. And that's coming up, only 3 weeks away. So, that's going to be fun.
That's great. Just the fact that you guys have so much going on that can appeal to not just, the racing community, but just the community in it as a whole to come out and see what's going on, support the things that are happening. I think that's so important.
It is, and you know what? I've heard from our fans that they're looking for a different level of amenities than we've been able to offer them the last 3 or 4 years, and we hear you, and we would have liked to get to this sooner. Please understand, it was somewhat out of our control.
Take time, right?
It was, So I know there's going to be a constituency of people that are certainly going to love to be upstairs to watch the races and have a nice dinner.
Yes.
I don't know if Matt Moore would be upset if I say this or not, but I know that there's something that they're working. Matt, I'm going to share this.
We're all friends here.
Okay, don't tell Matt, okay? But I know that they're going to at certain times feature a lobster dinner up there, which is going to be a lot of fun, and certainly that's a major tourism driver for the area as well when people are coming from out of town.
Well, fun fact: I actually worked up in the restaurant before COVID, I guess it would have been, and I know that was definitely high demand. The lobster dinner was a high demand, so it would be smart to bring that
just
back.
Don't tell
even
Matt,
if we don't know for sure if that's happening.
You didn't hear it from me, okay? Yeah.
So, Steve, for those that actually haven't attended a horse race before, what's the atmosphere like, and like what can they expect in a day at the races?
It's excitement. It's thrilling to be up close to these wonderful animals who are athletes, and this is their job.
It really is.
Right? But they're so majestic, and then, of course, the drivers that drive them in races are athletes as well, and extraordinarily 100%. Skilled, incredibly skilled. And of course, the people that train these horses do a phenomenal job. So they're sort of the unsung heroes of it. They don't get a lot of the glory because they're not as out front as the drivers and the horse. But you know what? It's a thrilling. So our racetrack is a half-mile racetrack. The horses go around twice, so it's a 1 mile race. And there's lead changes, and people try to beat each other. Not up, but beat each other in the race.
In the race.
You know what? I think there's a misnomer with our sport too. So the drivers carry whips. but they don't hit the horse. They
Sure.
actually really make a noise
that's right.
to basically urge the horse on. So, you know, that's, I think, a misnomer for people that don't know a lot about our sport. I think it's definitely worth pointing out. And so that's something that you'll hear the noise, you'll hear them yelling to the horse, hurry up, or
it's
come on,
encouragement.
Encouragement, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I know I came to a couple races last season, and it's not something I've done kind of regularly in any way in my life. And it is exciting to watch them. Like, even if it's not something that you think, well, I may not be into that, or I'm normally not into something like that. When you're here and you're kind of in the crowd and you're watching them, it is exciting, and to see them, you know, pass the finish line, and it really is.
And you know, you can bet on them for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
that's
course.
a significant part of our business, but we really want to say that we're family-friendly entertainment. You can bring your family and they can enjoy the animals and see them up close. And,
that's right.
And, you know, tell dad, you know, that's their favorite one. I love number 3 with it, you know, the white face and you know, like, or you pick one because of the name, or like, there's lots of ways. And you know, we'll certainly try to educate our, you know, new people on how to read the program and that kind of thing. And it can be intimidated for new people. I know that to be true.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a lot of fun ways to sort of participate in it as well.
And I'm sure the people that are kind of in the crowd that this is something they do regularly would be happy to help too. I mean, I know I've met patrons and they're pretty easygoing and friendly and willing to help if you're looking for it.
I agree. Yeah. They're certainly that way. The other thing to mention is, you know, it's free admission and it's free parking. So you can literally bring your family. You bring your $20 if you want, and you know, get some French fries or get a burger and some drinks, and you know, bet a few dollars or not if you want.
Just take it in. That's right.
Yeah, you know, just have fun with it, and that's really what we're encouraging people to come. There's all different levels of people. You know, there's people that are serious bettors that spend a lot of money.
Right, yeah.
There's people that just come and bet a little bit, or don't even bet and just come and enjoy the atmosphere. And we're happy with any and all of those people. Really.
Yeah. You know, what it comes down to is coming out and supporting a large resource in the community. This, you know, the raceway is and could be such a generator of for the economy in Truro and Colchester, and I just think that's really important for people to, because I think sometimes all of us are guilty of doing it, is taking for granted really amazing things that are in your community there, that if you were in a different community or someone else's community, you'd be like, oh wow, that's amazing. But because you've grown up with it and it's here, you don't really take that in.
And I think, you know, the previous GM, Kelly McEachran, had a tough job here because, you know, for the last 3 years before I got here, the grandstand wasn't available. So how do you advertise to come when you don't have much of a customer experience? It's a real catch-22 that I know she struggled with. But I think, you know, we're going to be a tourism driver for sure. We're going to attract people from all over HRM and the entire region. And we're going to have lots of fun things. And, you know, you can go to our website, truroraceway.ca, and see the entire events calendar. And we're going to do some neat charity things as well for some groups. And, you know, we want to be part of the community. We want to give back to the community. And, we're looking forward to seeing a lot of new people this year and a lot of old faces as well.
I think that's a really important point that you just made too, is like, you're here, you're supporting the community and you're giving back to the community. So, you know, to have the community support is obviously very important for that.
It is, and you know what? We were pretty successful with some community endeavors we did last year. We raised over $12,000 for the Alzheimer's Society on Claire McDonald Day, which was the highest donation in the history of the racetrack. And you know, we're hoping that we can do something in that ballpark or similar on a couple of occasions this year. But that's the impact, and that was without a grandstand. Imagine if we'd had the grandstand open at full capacity, we might have done 20. But we still were able to do 12. We're really proud of that. But we're looking to do
bigger and better this year.
We're looking to do kind of those kinds of things and just you know, be part of our community as big as we can. Yeah.
So, Steve, last season you guys held the $50,000 English Jewelers Diamond Classic race, which is the richest race in Nova Scotia. Are there any plans for that race to return? Yeah,
we're just we're waiting. We have people can buy a slot in that race. It's a slot buy-in race, one of only 2 in Canada. The other one being in Ontario, called the Molson Million. So people can buy a slot and then race for that $6,000. So the deadline for that's at the end of this month. So we don't know exactly how that's going to go so far, but as far as if it's going to fill or not, but we're really hopeful. But it was a great race for 2-year-old fillies last year, and like I said, Chip of Evil, the winner of that race, and it was extremely exciting. So it's nice to offer that kind of a purse, and the slot buy-in process allows for us to be able to have that type of money available. Of course. We just don't have that financial capability for a $50,000 race otherwise, but that concept went well last year. We'll hope it goes well again this year.
Awesome. So something for people to look forward to.
It'll be on November 3rd if it goes well.
Excellent. Yep. And so also you have an innovative ownership group called the Hubtown Horse Ownership Club, where people can buy into a horse ownership with as little as 1%.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us more about that initiative and how people can get involved?
Yes, so as you said, it's called the Hubtown Horse Owners Club. It's been done here for a number of years. Last year we had 2 horses that you could buy into, and they did very well, Little Tags and Delightful Wine. In fact, the Hubtown Horse Owners Club was the leading owner for wins last year at the racetrack, so can't do much better than that.
Awesome.
So this year we have one horse. His name is Atlas Marigold. His nickname is Skip. He has a big white face. He's going to be racing on opening day, and for $160 you can join the club, and that would get you a 1% ownership in him, and that would include all training for the entire season.
Wow.
So he would race under the ownership of the group, so there could be as many as 100 owners. If there's 100 people join the club and they each own 1%. And we had 56 owners last year on that group, and they had a ton of fun. I mean, they got their picture taken. So you get your picture taken when you win.
So many times.
Yeah, it was like every week almost. It was a lot of fun. So they really had
and
fun.
That's I feel like a reasonable price for something if you wanted to kind of chip in to do that.
You know what? I mean, price out going to the movies with a family of 4 right now, it's not a lot different. And this gets you a thrill for 20 race days, plus all the training. And then at the end of the year, we sell the horse and we refund that money to the owner. So you probably get at least half of that back.
Oh my goodness.
Something like that. So and if they make some purse money over a certain threshold, then some of that gets refunded as well. So, you might spend $75 to own a horse this year. Possibly. It might be,
And how much fun.
Yeah, tons of fun. And you can come and they had a lot of get-togethers with the horse where you could go over to the barn and see him. Some barbecues after the races. And so Darren Crow and Bruce McGean each had a horse last year. This year it's Wink McCollum and his stable, who do a great job, and they were the 3rd leading trainer last year. So we're expecting good things from Atlas. He came from Ontario, and we think the change of scenery is going to do him some good. And he's been training very well, and we'll see him on opening day on Sunday. So.
Awesome! That sounds so great.
So call me or send me an email if you're interested in doing something like that. It's a really affordable price for a lot of fun.
It really is. So, Steve, before we sign off, is there anything else you feel like you should leave the viewers with, or anything that they should kind of know before we go?
Well, be gentle with us for the next couple of weeks with the building.
There's always growing pains,
we have some furniture and TVs on, ordered, and they'll be here within the next 30 days and that kind of thing. Our liquor license, we're certainly working on that. We don't have it at the moment, so that's going to take a bit of time.
Yeah.
The issue is when you have to get a occupancy permit on the building to be able to get some of these other things, which we haven't had until the last few days.
Right.
So, and then it takes some time. So,
yes, of course.
So, we beg your patience for the next 30 days or so.
Yeah, that's right. You're working on it, though.
But I think, by the time we hit July 1st, we'll hit our stride with where we're going to be heading from here to the next 30 years of what that level of atmosphere and entertainment level is going to be. But even at this for Sunday, it's going to be a lot of fun, and you'll be able to get in the grandstand. So that's a good start.
Yeah, come and have a look around.
Absolutely.
And, like I said, if it's not something you think you might enjoy or you've never actually taken it in before, you really should come check it out, because when you're here and when you're watching the horses, it's really kind of a fun and exhilarating place to be.
It's exciting. There's no question about it. Yeah.
Well, Steve, thanks so much for sharing all the information with us. Thanks, and, we look forward to an amazing season here at Truro Raceway.
I appreciate it. I hope to see everybody here.
Thanks, guys.